Hey guys, Neomis, and for today's video, I want to talk about the rumor on the Bayern Munich man. I got one name, Angelo Stiller. You're probably wondering, who is that? It's my job to tell you. That's right, rumored from Bayern Munich to Arsenal. Also, the return of a legend. No, it's not Thierry Henry, but Santi Cazorla. Santi Cazorla being linked back with Arsenal. Stay tuned to my thoughts and my views on both of those topics. And if you haven't done so already, please hit the subscribe button, which should be somewhere around here. Continue to like. Please comment on your thoughts on the video. Now, let's get started. So, as I stated in the intro, you're probably wondering, Angelo Stiller. Now, the rumors on this guy has been flirting around all morning, all day, and I've just finished like working from home like everybody else, and I thought, who is Angelo Stiller? Like, where's this guy come from? And this is a guy who is in the Bayern Munich academy, very young, a very young guy, plays as a defensive midfielder. Now, I thought, especially with my video yesterday, defensive midfielder, we were going for someone of experience. That we were looking for someone who knew how to do the role and had lots of experience doing it at the highest level, or at the very least at a very good level. Now, even though I know Angelo is 19 years old, he's German, obviously Bayern Munich, but just wanted to make that clear. And it said that, you know, he has a bright future ahead in Germany if he chooses to stay. But Arsenal are said to be interested in him. And yes, he is inexperienced in terms of being as a professional, playing in other teams. But this is the route that Arsenal want to go. This is the route that they want to go in order to prevent them from spending ridiculous amounts of money on players. And I just hope that a guy like Angelo Stiller does work out. And even through me doing some research throughout today, looks like a pretty decent player. I mean, he's two-footed, can play both right and left foot. Again, he's not just a defensive midfielder, but he can play as central midfield as well. And I mean, in terms of overall games so far, like this season before the whole COVID-19 thing, you know, he only managed 8 games, but this is like with the Bayern Munich B team. And I mean, he's young, you know, 19 years old. I mean, this is like us buying somebody from Chelsea's academy and saying, hey, you know, we believe you're a good player and now we're going to put you into the first team. It's a tough one. It really is. It's a tough one for me to kind of give my thoughts on that, because there's nothing I could really go with apart from the fact that Arsenal are said to be interested in him. I will say that it probably means that players like Ainsley Maitland-Niles, I do now question what his future is. And you probably say, well, I mean, he plays at right back, but Maitland-Niles also plays in central midfield as well. And I've said it time and time again that I think that his best position is in central midfield, but not as like a central midfield player, but more as a defensive midfield player that could also play as a central midfield player. And with all of the other central midfield players that we have, and I've mentioned this before about Smith Rowe and Willock and Xhaka and Guendouzi, and then you still got the likes of Ceballos there, even though I know he's out on loan, or Andel Nene there, who's still on the books. You know, so many positions that we have for so similar type of players where we need more specialist roles. And players like Maitland-Niles, if they're not even going to be considered to play when we're looking for a player like Angelo. And you can make the argument, hey, Angelo might be one for the future, but he's 19. You know, the future is now for Angelo Stiller. So it must mean that they're looking at him for the first team in some way, shape or form. And it probably means that maybe some other players need to go. And I definitely have to say I worry for Maitland-Niles on this one, and possibly even some other players as well. But let's see what happens. I think it's a decent one to go for. You know, he's going to be relatively cheap. I saw online on transfermarket.com that he was rumored in terms of valuation at the 1 million mark. So right up Arsenal's alley, right up the board's alley in terms of getting players for cheap. But we really need to think about, is he the right quality? But who knows? Who knows? But let's see and find out. And then finally, the legend himself, Santi Cazorla. So I'm assuming everybody here who's watching this knows that Santi Cazorla, for me at least, is one of the top Arsenal players that Arsenal have had in the past 5-6 years. I mean, such a really good player. Technically, his dribbling ability, absolutely brilliant. I can't remember the season that it is. Might have been the 2015-2016 season. Him and Francis Coquelin in that midfield. That was the midfield pairing that I was like, brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. And if it wasn't for Santi getting injured, like it could have really have been something more. And those two pairing, for me as an Arsenal fan, I thought that was the best midfield pairing that we'd had Santi in years. I mean, we originally bought him as like an attacking midfield player, winger, and then later on in his career he dropped back more into midfield. And I mean, he was just on a next level. And now there's talks about him coming back to Arsenal. Unfortunately, it's not as a player, or at least not quite as a player, but as being part of Arteta's coaching staff. So he was asked by Vamos, Spanish publication, what his future holds, and the question was asked, would he be interested in joining Mikel Arteta's coaching staff? And he said that he would be very interested in it. And I like the sound of that. I think he would provide excellent coaching ability for the midfield players that we have. We've got lots of them. And win, lose or draw with them, I think in terms of the players' development, the likes of Cazorla, the likes of Willock and Emile Smith-Rowe and the other players coming through the academy, I think he would be absolutely a really good coach to have, especially at looking at the type of career that he had and the player that he has had for Arsenal. So it'd be good to have him there, even if he just came back, maybe even as a player coach, I would like as well. So leave your comments below. Do you think that we should maybe sign Santi Cazorla back as a player coach, even if it's like just to play like a handful of games for next season? Who wouldn't mind seeing that? I know I do. So leave your comments down below. And yeah, I will see you all next time, which will probably be tomorrow, but I'm starting to kind of get back into things, you know, after these past months. So leave your comments below, continue to subscribe, and I'll see you tomorrow. Peace.